I've about had it. They want to shame us for this, but the fact of the matter is that the vast majority of marathon players are PC gamers who are getting it through Steam. And look at the Steam numbers and the Steam charts. Now, this may not be the whole story, but this is a big chunk of it, and it is actually the biggest chunk of the story so far with Marathon. I want you to notice the trend line. Now, in stock analysis, if we looked at this chart, we would notice a few things about what is happening here. We would notice the downward slope overall, and that it has gone very volatile, but at the end of the day, the trend is in the downward direction. We would also notice that despite these somewhat higher peaks, that like every time it's a volatile chart. It goes up, 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 down, but every the whole cycle of this chart, it has been sloping downwards. I could make a little few staircases, to analyze that chart too, to see that it went up a little bit here, and then back down, and now it keeps establishing a lower and lower peak. But on top of that, another point that I could make is that the bottom of the these are increasing over time. It lower bottoms and lower ceilings at the same time. Are the reality of the Steam charts at this point. Now, somebody might try to say that this is not the entirety of the picture, but the fact of the matter is that this is the biggest chunk of the picture, and they made 100 to 2. They spent over like 100 to 200 million making this game, so they're not even coming close to making the money that they spent on it back. Like they would need to sell way more units than this to even begin making their money back, and they're not even close to that. So this is what we're looking at, as the glaring spectacle of failure. And then, of course, as this is going on, you've got people lashing out at anybody who points it out. That actually says anything about it, or calls out the reality of it, is basically told that we're a bunch of meaningless incels. By the developers, which is bold words from somebody that's going to be unemployed soon. You know, so they came out, and let me pull up their statement. To look at the player count reaches recourses peak stupidity. Warframe and Overwatch devs say peak in solidarity. This is big unemployed maidenless behavior. And just to laugh about SteamDB using as a mic drop, to which I can only say, none of you talentless hacks have released a game worth playing. Fuck Warframe, fuck Overwatch, and fuck Marathon. Mic drop. I've had it. I don't give a fuck what the developers of any of those games want to think of me. You know why? Because all of your games suck. I don't want to be like them. Let them hate me. Take another shot at me, Dylan. All you are is what I'd rather die instantly than ever become. Yeah, and fuck you too, Rory. We're in, lash out mode at the people that don't want to play this pile of shit. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter that at all if Marathon has found an audience, and it has. Bungie spent so much making it that they need Skyrim numbers to make their money back, and they can't even crack 100,000. They're cooked. And to the apologist, all I can say is pour your hatred down on me. All you are is what I don't want to be. I love the way you hate me. May Marathon continue to bury Sony's live service dreams in a mountain of shit. Stupid fucking employee thinks it makes it better than him. Concord 3.0, let's do this! This is the third time a major studio has released a flop. How many times do we have to reject it before they get the message? I wish you all hell. Overwatch sucks. For real. Marathon will shut down. But all I can say about this is that, pretty soon that you're going to be the ones to put, whatever. I'm sad about being jobless and maidenless. I'll just get an ex-AAA dev to put the fries in the bag, Whatever, Rory. I'm pretty sure that you'll be bagging my groceries soon enough. It's coming. The layoffs are coming, at this point, because they haven't even begun to make their money back, and the game is already declining player count numbers. Somehow I doubt they're going to make their money back on the PlayStation, where the install base is too narrow to save them. Good luck with that, Sony.